All right, so let's take a look at your OneNote file. And what you're going to find in your OneNote file is you're going to find a couple different things. The first page is usually going to have an objectives for what we're going to talk about this week. Let me go ahead and look at my other files here. I also have your syllabus that we're going to talk about, some information on your assignment, and a little bit more information about your assignment. So let's take a look at the objectives for this week. I've already done the instructor introduction. You should have watched that lecture video. We talked about the course outline. We talked about OneNote, and we can talk about Delicious quick. What Delicious is Delicious is where I'm going to be posting some different things that I'm going to want you to go in and take a look at. So in order to go to Delicious, all that you'll need to do is open your browsers, and then you'll need to type in delicious.com and ARTD245. Okay, and what that does is that's going to take you to a site, and there's all kinds of things in there right now, resources that you can look through if you want. You don't have to at this time. But some of the things you'll want to do is, for example, one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to install Skype on your computer, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the syllabus. But if you'll see, under tags, I've tried to organize them, so you'll see if you click on Skype, I have some links in there that you can, this first link allows you to go ahead and download Skype. The other ones tell you how to use Skype. Okay, so hopefully you've used Skype before. If you haven't, we'll be using it. It's a really nice tool for us to communicate back and forth with each other. You can contact me if you have quick questions. We can also share your screen if you're having problems doing something specifically. So it's a nice tool to use. You can also do group meetings if you want to within there. So we'll be using Skype. So delicious.com is a social bookmarking tool. This is where I will be saving a lot of links for you to be able to access and use for this class. So if I tell you to go to Delicious, this is where I'm asking you to go to. If you would like, you can go ahead and create your own account and add it to your account, add it to your network as well, but you don't have to do that. But just know that this is where you get to Delicious. Okay, so we've talked about Delicious. We also have talked about D2L. We haven't talked about your homework assignment yet. But let's go ahead and jump into our syllabus review. I'm not going to talk about everything on the syllabus. For the most part, it's fairly standard information that you have seen in a lot of your other courses, I'm sure. Some of the things that we're just going to talk about is I do have my contact information there. I have my Skype ID listed here. Your Skype ID is important because this is how you're going to add me as a contact. So part of what your assignment for this week is going to be is that you add me as a contact to your Skype account, okay, so that we can communicate back and forth. One of the nice things about this Skype is I will be logged into Skype pretty much any time during the day. And so you can see when I'm logged in, and if you have a quick question, you can go ahead and shoot me a question. We can also set up appointments that way too. So what is this course about? Well, the history of graphics, there's a lot of different things, and when we get into it this first week is just a basic introduction. We'll get into the history of graphics a little bit more further. For the most part, this course is going to cover the development of graphics from their origins to contemporary practices. So really what we want to see is where is graphic design started? Where did it come from? What are some of the specific conventions that we use? One example is a book numbers. Why are they often in the lower right corner? What that does is, again, just gives you a good idea of how things are. It also takes a look at how things are impacted today by some of those previous designs and different things. Okay, and we'll talk about that more the first week. Okay. Some of the things that I want you to be able to do is be able to conceptualize the material that we're talking, understand how it applies to you as a graphic designer. You should understand how to plan and organize your time, and just plan and organize the different things that we are going to be doing in class. Okay? Here's a few little things about prerequisites. I don't have a lot. I will be using OneNote. I didn't include that as a prerequisite just because you can also use a PDF. Here is your required textbook that we will be using for this class. Okay. What we're going to be doing in this class, there's going to be online lecture videos, we're going to be group discussion, we're going to do individual projects. For the most part, we'll stick to doing a lot of individual. We'll be doing a lot of group discussion, but we'll be doing individual assignments and tasks. I may have you do 1 or 2 group projects, but I have not decided on that quite yet. Okay. One of the things that I want to make sure that you understand about this class is that you do need to be somewhat flexible, because I will change the class and how things are going with the class depending on how quickly or how slowly we are moving. So if we did slow down, or if I feel that a chapter is a little bit more important, we may take some more time and look at that chapter. I will say some of the earlier chapters are a little dry as far as content goes, so we may go through those a little bit faster and get to some of the later chapters in the textbook, which really show you how graphic design has evolved and really apply to what you are doing now. So please make sure that you are flexible. I will try and always give you enough time to do your assignments, but you need to always plan on, for example, if we were meeting in class, we would be meeting for 3 hours at least each week for discussion and those types of things. So at a minimum, you need to understand that you will be working, that we would meet those 3 weeks, then those 3 hours. Then you would also need to be doing homework outside of the class. So you need to be able to devote anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a week at a minimum to this class. So just because, and I'll be posting lecture videos and doing those types of things, but just because we're, in an online environment, that doesn't mean that we won't be meeting as much, that you won't be required to do as much work. But you will be required to do discussions and actively participate in this class. So it's not going to be, you just read the book and then do a quiz. We're going to be really trying to get to understand what's going on with this book and see how it applies to what you're doing. And we'll be doing some group works and those kinds of things. Okay. My makeup policy is only assignments submitted on time will receive full credit. You can submit late assignments for partial credit. You will not be able to make up discussion points. So if you decide you are not going to contribute to your group's discussion, you will not be able to make up any of those points. No exceptions to that, because the whole reason why you are talking as a group is so that you guys can understand some different things and get some good discussion going. If you do it late and your teammates aren't involved, and it's a moot point at that point. So you cannot make up any of your discussion points at all. If you have any questions or concerns, you need to contact me right away. If you can't submit an assignment, if you can't do something with the discussion, you need to contact me before that assignment is due, not after the assignment is due. Okay, I don't think I need to talk about academic honesty as far as cheating goes. For the most part, I don't care if you work together on things, but I do not want you to work together on quizzes. You can work together on other things, but you still need to make it your own. For example, if I ask you to write a paper, you can't work with somebody on it. You can talk about it, and you can talk about what you're doing. You can talk about maybe what the requirements are, but you cannot work together on your assignments. As far as, you can't hand in the exact same thing that somebody else hands in. Okay, if I asked you to give me an example of something that has influenced you in graphic design, you can't submit the same thing as somebody else. Okay, and I think you guys have a good feel for what's cheating and what's not cheating. Okay, so you can go ahead and read through any of those other information. Okay, the instructor expectations that I have for you is that you will watch all lecture videos and participate in all class activities. And again, just be flexible. Things may change in this class just based on how things are going. And actually, student expectations. Of course, lecture videos and assignments will be posted by Sunday night, but, and I missed this here, I'll fix it, you won't have the entire week to work on all of them. You will have 2 due dates. One will be on Wednesday night, and then the second one will be Sunday night. Okay, so make sure that you look at your course outline for that. For assessment, this is where you'll need to be flexible with me because right now I have a weekly discussion activity for each week and then a chapter activity for each week planned. But we may do more, we may do less. It just depends on how things are going with the class. And we will have a final project that we'll do in the last 2 weeks of class. Okay, but this will be adjusted probably as we go through. Again, if I find that we need to do more discussion during 1 week, then we'll do more discussion. Here's my evaluation procedures, and here's my fixed scale for determining grades. This is just a tentative weekly schedule. If you want to look at a better weekly schedule, go ahead and look at your course outline, as to that gives you a little bit better indicator of what we will be doing in class. Okay, so that's a quick overview of your syllabus. So let's take a look back and see how we're doing with our objectives. Okay, so we went through and we talked about our syllabus review. We talked about your course outline, OneNote, and using Delicious. Okay, so Skype. I've talked about it already a little bit. You need to install Skype. Part of what your assignment will be, and in another lecture video we'll talk about your assignment, but part of what you're going to be doing with Skype is adding me to your contact list and installing Skype on your computer. If you have questions about that, you can go ahead and let me know. The other objective for the week is getting to know your group. So you will need to post your introductions and your responses to that group in the Desire to Learn. Okay, and so we'll talk about these other in the next lecture video, which will be the assignment lecture video. I'm breaking them up today just because to keep the videos shorter for you, but I may combine the weekly objectives and the assignment discussion into one in the future. It just depends. Okay, so the next assignment or the next lecture video that we'll talk about will have your assignment information in it and a discussion about your assignment.